People will often assume that I must have had a wonderful string of managers that weren't so good. And I think I have not had any more or less than the average employee. Over time, I've had my share of those that were excellent and a few that could use some of what I teach now. But the reality is it came about by my teaching in related areas. I would teach about workplace communication, for example, and a section of that had to do with what if you're working with people who are difficult to work with? What happens then? And in particular, what if that person was the boss? Which kind of happens more often than people might guess. But what came out of that is a realization that I wasn't the only one who had experienced that. And in fact, many people had had that experience. And research is clear that if the manager, the person in charge of a team, isn't maybe being as effective as they could be, that can kind of bring a cloud over the whole work environment. Managers, research shows, the number one reason people will leave a job, voluntarily go, is because the person they report to just isn't doing it for them. And so I started to realize that this is kind of a big area. It's a big need, and somebody should start researching that. So I have taken that on. Often, I will cite the Peter Principle, and because there's plenty of experience that suggests this is the case. So for starters, the Peter Principle in short is people will get promoted to their level of incompetence, and that's as high as they go. But discussion of why that happens hasn't been had so much. My perception is that when we find people who are good workers at a certain thing, whatever the work might be, software development, mechanical engineering, design, whatever the case might be, they may be good at that thing, very good in fact, and able to share with others how to improve in that skill. And that has a semblance of leadership, right? Because that is kind of being a leader in a specific area. Well, organizations will then take that to mean if they can do their job well and they can teach others to do it well, they certainly must be able to oversee these people as well. But the problem is, that's a different skill set. Overseeing people takes different skills than actually doing the job that these people are doing. And so we find people who have been promoted to positions they're not quite ready to handle. Now the good ones will take in the knowledge and the learning from other people and become at least okay in the work. That's one reason that can happen. Other situations, people will go to school and they'll get the formal knowledge. So perhaps let's just say Masters of Business Administration. Masters of Business Administration, MBA. So they have the formal knowledge that says they should be able to oversee people in organizations, lead, but they've never had any experience in that. Or perhaps even if they had experience, it still wasn't with a mentor who could show them maybe a better way to do things. The book learning does not equal actual competence in the position. And so we'll have those people who even have formal training who still really aren't quite ready for being a leader, at least not long term. Again, starting out, anybody can have some rough spots. But if after several years this is still a rough spot, there's more going on there. Well, it's actually not what I think is the most important or most effective. What I like to draw from is research in the industry. And workplace research is pretty clear about what motivates people in the workplace. And Dan Payton speaks of this as well, so certainly this is not original with me. But there are three things that seem to be most effective beyond giving people the pay they need to meet their basic needs. That's obviously one motivator. That's why people go to work in the first place. But beyond that, there's three elements, and the first one is autonomy. Enabling people to act kind of on their own, having responsibility for a certain area, and being able to act independently in that area is one thing. The second one is purpose. Being clear about what matters and feeling that they are part of that in the work, and that sense of purpose, particularly if it closely identifies with their personal mission and their personal vision, what they see for themselves and their time here on earth, that's important. And the third is self-mastery. When people have a role that enables them to develop skills and grow and develop in ways maybe not even connected specifically with the specific job they have, but just as a person in general, this motivates people.